What is shaking Winjet community? What? Happy Thursday. Well, happy Money Thursday, that is. You can tell I have the founders of Market House with me, Jason and Zach. What is shaking, Atlanta boys?
I love that intro, man. It's the first time I've seen it.
I haven't seen that yet.
I was like, that's me and that's him.
It's like, who knew? Oh my gosh.
I love it.
Yeah, we wanted to make sure, because, obviously with you, either members of your staff or you going live each week, we don't want to obviously see my face. Like, why would you want to see my face?
I don't.
Coming in hot. Coming in hot. All right, good stuff.
Shots fired. Shots fired.
Right, already. All right, guys. Well, appreciate everyone being here live. If you're not here live, do everything in your power to get your butt here live, because obviously we are starting up the going live each and every week at a certain time in a certain channel for each official partner. And for today, we're going to go over Site Now. The exclusive offers are only for Winjet Studios community. And this includes for content creators, as in podcasters community, and also the listeners community, like content consumers. And that's something I haven't really talked about all the way with all the members of the community within the podcasters we had through the beta test. We're open up streamlined communication for all the back end exclusive offers. And on top of that, to really help all your listeners of the show, open up communication with the Q&As and all the amazing things we have in the backside. And Jason and Zach have been working really hard on the member sites and making it really beautiful and really obviously accessible and really easy to obviously utilize. But for the most part, guys, I want to make sure, what's up, Horace? For the most part, I want to make sure that everyone understands the Texan community. Texan community, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, when they go live each and every week at, what time is it? 2 o'clock. It's 2 o'clock my time.
2 o'clock our time.
2 o'clock Eastern. Yeah, okay. 2 o'clock Eastern. Every Thursday at 2 o'clock Eastern. Yeah, both of them themselves or a member of their staff will be coming online, going over exactly all the ins and outs on what they are going to do for all of our members of our community. And it's great because you know how it is, guys, in podcasting. People have a podcast show. Mm-hmm. They already have a kind of a website, but they only are utilizing that website up to like maybe 20% of the capability of their website, if that makes sense.
Right.
So, and this is what you guys do. I mean, obviously, even with the social media stuff and then linking in maybe some of the SEO, that's why it's important. So even if you have a great site, if it's not actually already integratable and it has everything you need, this is why they're here. It's a perfect fit. So I guess who wants to start?
I mean, I can go ahead and jump out there. You know, before we were meeting, I was curious. So I went on to Google and I was like, Googled how to start a podcast just to see how many results there are out there. Just because when Zach and I were starting our first podcast years ago, we didn't know what we were doing. We were relying on someone else to offer up that information. And it's really overwhelming. Like, you have this great idea, you have a niche, you have a voice, and you want to get it out there. And with so many things everywhere, you have no idea where to start, right? Unless somebody tells you, unless you have like a community, kind of like we have with Winjet. And so I was curious online earlier and I searched it, and it was something like 890 million search results in Google, all surrounding how to start a podcast.
Jeez.
And I'm like, so you could literally click next on the 10 pack for like the rest of your life, and you still look at all the results. So
for the rest of your life.
Exactly. There's so much information out there. I think it's incredibly overwhelming, which is why Zach and I love that you brought us on board to this community to be able to streamline that process, not for just starting podcasting, but for promoting it, for growing it, for growing community, for monetizing, like all of the different aspects that people want to do, that they set out to do when they start a podcast. So that's for one thing, that's just what I love about this community. And because there's so much information out there, it's really easy to get overwhelmed and then bail. 100%. Because a lot of people get this vision. They're like, I want to do this. I want to have my voice heard. Then they get into it. They're like, crap, I got to set up like an RSS feed and I got to do this and I got to connect this. They're like, I'm out.
Yes.
You know,
it's overwhelming. It's really overwhelming.
Yeah. And, you know, it's not necessarily the hardest thing in the world, but there's a lot of moving parts. And if you have a lot of different people telling you how to do it differently, it's like, I don't know who to listen to. So I love the fact that it's all kind of contained in this ecosphere. So,
you know, I'm going to give you a little nightmare. And this is what the nightmare that I had. My experience of my show, when I had TCR Education or TCR, I can't remember which domain it was actually under. When I sold those 2 programs to the trade school, I had it brokered within the deal that they took care of a lot of the, like, obviously outsourcing, like show notes and all that editing and whatnot. And obviously I had it brokered into the contracts where was training these 13,000 reps. So it obviously helped with the downloads and went through the roof. Well, I didn't know this just by trade schools, they don't do podcasting, right? So that's not something they obviously utilize that well. I didn't know that you had to redirect an RSS feed and whatnot. So when I moved over to winjet.com RSS feed, I lost all of my subscribers and downloads. They're gone. Luckily, I had screenshots to be able to show sponsors and show different things with through reports and whatnot. Obviously, reports and it just zaps it over there. But I lost everything. And
that's worse than a nightmare, though.
Oh yeah, I literally and I was like, and that's what when we obviously got connected about obviously starting the community and building it out and to where exclusive offers and doing it the right way. That's exactly why I was like, okay, I don't want to get just a site. I don't want to just get a website. I want it custom made, and I want the right people around me to do it the right way because I need to lead by example. So if I'm doing it the right way and the community's doing it the right way and I have the right people there and the staff and not just sending them to Tom, Dick, and Harry, you know what I mean? I'm sending them to people that I work with and they're official partners and I trust. That was the whole point behind this. And I love that you said that. You can search forever for things. That's why you have all these Google searches and no one knows what the hell they're doing.
Yeah. It's just a lot of conflicting information. A lot of it supports each other, but when you have a community like this, that's like, this is how you build, this is how you monetize, this is how we can help you interconnect with everybody else. It's much more than a DIY guide. It's a actual literal community that is helping everyone. Like, I love it.
Yeah, one of the things that kind of attracted us to Wenject was the community that you are trying to create, what we have created. What drew us to that is that's one of the things that me and Jason wanted to do is we like to partner with podcasters, with businesses, and say we want to link arms and watch you grow. And so obviously that's your dream with Wenject is all these podcasters like, hey, I want to watch you grow. I want to watch your podcast grow. I want to see it thrive. And that's the thing that drew me and Jason to this whole thing. Now being a part of that community even more in depth, like we're just excited to be able to link arms with podcasters and say you don't have to do all this stuff by yourselves. And that's kind of the website is crucial. And having a great website, and not just a website that just we let me back up. We were on a call this morning with a gentleman that was sharing with us about him needing a website and him doing it himself. And he said, it took me an hour and a half to do this little small, tiny little thing, just try to figure it out. And he said, I had no idea. I don't know all the lingo. I don't know all that stuff. And that's, one of the reasons we have our services is so that we can come along with you to build up for you at a great price.
It's a peace of mind for me.
Yeah. I mean, you want to know that it's done right. Instead, a lot of people, with podcasters, if you don't know what you're doing, you can spend all this time. We know what it takes to put a podcast together. It's a lot of work. There's a lot that has to go in there. And if you're taking your time and spending more on trying to get your website up and running than producing great content for your listeners, then your time is not spent in the right spot.
Well, you're pouring into things that you can't recycle.
Sure.
And people don't know. I mean, I was just actually having a conversation with Russ last night about this. Obviously, you've met. He's doing the video production live streams for us, and it's knocked off $3,000 off his cost for what he's bringing to the table because he wants to pour into a podcaster, and so they have a peace of mind for them to invest that energy and time into their message rather than into things that they can't recycle. When you're tapped into your source and you're plugged into the things that drive you and bring you fulfillment in life, then it's you don't feel like you're working. You're doing what you love to do.
Yeah.
And that's something that you guys, obviously, it shows through your work. Like when we come up with the obviously we had that first call. The first call for me, it was kind of like me kind of talking about what we were going to do. And then, I don't know, it was like 2 days later, you sent me a template, sent me an idea. I was like, did you pull this out of my mind? Because I was like, I have a hard time explaining this to people for them to grasp the concept. You know exactly what I was looking for. So it was it was a perfect match right from the beginning.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, like you said, we're like brothers separated at birth.
Right. Like who knew? All right. So Carolyn, I guess we can kind of like go through the actual offer.
Yeah, sure.
Go through what it looks like, what the onboarding process, and then that way it kind of gives people a little bit more of an idea on what's actually in store. Carolyn, if you can share that, there we go. There's my girl. All right, she's on top of it. So I'll take you guys from here.
Yeah. Okay. So this is the website. If you go ahead and scroll down, we've built a special offer just for members of the Winject community. You can't just go onto the site and get this any old way. Like it's exclusive to the Winject community, and what we're offering is essentially a third off of all of our services. And it's specifically built out for podcasters. So we are developing themes for podcasters. And we've also developed a pretty popular social media Kickstarter thing. And we were gearing this specifically for the podcaster community because there's so many people who are DIY, right? So many people want to be able to do it themselves. You're a podcaster, and that's kind of like the mentality that you have. So our service is, like I said, it's a third off of our normal price. So it's $1,000 to build out the website, and it's just $99 a month. And that takes care of your hosting. We SEO optimize all the pages on the site. And plus, if you stay with us for at least 2 years, we'll redesign the site for free after 2 years.
That's really, wow. That's powerful.
Yeah, because we realize that things change, designs change. People want a fresh new look after 2 years. Like, so we're going to be creating more and more themes as we kind of go along through here, and you're going to see one and say, well, I'd rather have this one now. Let's switch to that. And we can easily move things over for you. You don't have to pay any new additional setup fees or anything like that. You don't have to go and find another person to build your site. It's already there. You just call us and say, hey,
I think that's powerful for a couple of reasons. I mean, because I'm about to approach the 5th season of my show, right? And I'm not doing rebranding or anything, but the color scheme is going to change just a little bit. The overall outcome is obviously I've adjusted certain metrics and certain things I'm going to trying to go after and I need to accomplish in certain tasks and certain obviously targets. And that the message is obviously changing a little bit of the show and obviously how it obviously goes into all. So I think that's really helpful. That's great.
Yeah. One of the things that we like to talk about when we talk about these sites, they are perfect for DIY. In fact, that's like one of our taglines is a better way to DIY, because we're positioned in a space where you can do it yourself as much as you want. So you write your copy and stuff like that. Most people come to us with a copy already written. We can help you write the copy for your site to help you describe your brand if that's not really your forte. But one of the ways that it's a great DIY solution is because once we build it, you can have as much or as little control over it as you want. And it's very straightforward. So like if you're like, hey, I only want to update my posts that are going out and syncing up to launch my podcast episodes, and I want to update my testimonials. That's it. Okay, cool. We can lock it down. So like that's all you see, and so there's no way to like mess anything up, because that's also a big problem that we've run into over the years is some people just don't want to do it because they're worried that they're going to mess it up. When you just are specific about, what it is that you want to do, we can work with you on that, and we can make the website customized in the back end to whatever you want. And then we also have the Kickstarter package for social media that we have as well. And that's another great for DIYers, because what we do is we take your brand, whatever your podcast brand is, and we build out a whole slew of Canva templates. And then that way you can take that, upload it to your free Canva account and edit it away. And Canva, for those people who don't know, is like a simplified an easier version of Photoshop. It's just all web based, and so you can go in, you can drop in new pictures for your shows if you have guests. A lot of value in that because you can use those essentially forever.
Mhm.
So that's another perk that we do with our regular customers that we've offered. Also, that's pretty much a half off discount for this community as well. So we really want, Zach and I are really big on starting right. So there's something that my mom always said, and she said, the way it starts is the way it goes. And I've had that philosophy my entire life. And I think that's really important for this community. Even if you've got your podcast started, if you're in the mode that you need to tweak something or be better at something, that is something that you just aren't going to control. Why not have a good start? That way you set yourself up for success for the life of your show. You know what I mean?
I love that philosophy. That kind of goes with, even from our brief conversations at the very beginning before we kind of got to know each other a little bit better, right? When I was saying, listen, he goes, what is the kind? I think it was Zach's question. He asked me, he's like, how fast do you want to move on this? And so I was like, well, until it's right. I really don't. I'm not trying to rush this. I only want to move when it's going to get me to the outcome of it. Like, let's get it right. Make sure everything is in place and measured and reassessed. And that way we can get around any kind of potential roadblocks or bottlenecks and kind of foresee all the moving parts. And that's one of the things that I loved about the way that you operated. It's like, listen, we're not just going to take something and throw it against the wall and hope it sticks. We're going to do it the right way.
Right. I saw that comment come in from Nina. Zach, do you want to take that?
Yeah. So Nina, this patch takes care of unlimited pages. So you have as many pages as you need. Part of the process will be, though, that when you set up a time to chat with us, if you see at the bottom of this page, there will be a place for our schedule. There's be other services that we offer as well that are separate that we would walk you through past building out your site. But if you scroll down just a little bit further, you'll see where you can set up a time to chat with us. On that call, we're going to talk to you a little bit more about what your needs are, which we'll talk to you about which pages you want and all that sort of stuff. We'll walk you through all that stuff. Now, we don't actually touch the actual website till content is ready to go. It's just a smoother process for you. It's a smoother process for us. Not a lot of back and forth of where's this page, where's that page. It's you say, hey, here's the pages I need, here's the content I need. You present it to us, we build it out for you. You see some drafts and you sign off on it. And to Chris's point, like, I did ask him how fast we want to move on it. Obviously, we want to make sure it's done right, but we can turn these sites around pretty quickly if the content's ready to go. And we've been doing this a really, really long time, and we've done it both ways, trying to get the content as we're building it. And it's like trying to build a plane without all the parts, right? You want to have all the parts in place, build the plane, and it's done right. So not going back and forth so nothing gets missed. So that's sort of kind of the process here is, once you sign up with us, we're going to ask you a bunch of questions, get to know you a little bit better, get to know what your podcast is about, get the feel for it. Then we'll ask you to start creating some content. We do have a service where we can create that content for you. That is not included in that price, but it is something that we can do for you.
Like an add-on?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, like an add-on.
Would you, and it rang my bell when you said that. Is it a reason why you want the content there? Because it kind of gives you a little bit more idea on what the website needs to look like?
Yeah, it gives us a better feel for how we're going to lay it out. If there's content already in place, we get a better feel for how to make sure it is communicated clearly. The flow is make sure the flow is really well. All that sort of stuff. If we have the content ready to go, it's easier for that process to take place.
It also speeds up time to market too. So if you contract with us to get the website built, and you are like, here's my pictures, here's my branding, if you have it already, here are my episodes, here's my copy, let's roll. We can start like right then, you know what I mean? We can get the team working on it. But if it's, hey, here's my pictures, Okay, cool. Awesome. And then so it's like you put it and then you go back and wait. So it allows us to spend our time in a very focused manner. So
You want to pop this question? If you needed a coaching course portal that people can purchase, be added if needed. Great question, Nina.
A coaching course portal. Yeah. So would you already? So yes. So we can connect to a pre-existing coaching course system, or we can build that out for you too. So we can build it out and connect it up. So whether you
that's what a lot of not to cut you off. That's what a lot of podcasters obviously are utilizing their podcast for anyway. Is to be able to get better clients or maybe their outreach. So if they have an existing course, and there's one other thing. I actually had a personal friend of mine. She's a fitness trainer, and she's sponsored by Adidas. I mean, she's done this for a while. She's really good at what she does. I think she specializes obviously in neuroscience and teaching people how to, I guess, get past certain eating disorders or whatever that might be. And she's obviously done a very good job. I noticed that she had some of the questions about obviously doing a member site. She doesn't have a podcast yet. Obviously, I told her, this is probably a way for you to reach more clients and obviously membership. But I think she has Weebly. I actually said Wembley or something. Maybe it's just that. But Weebly, so say something. Is it Weebly or whatever it's called?
It's Weebly, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I don't know.
Saying Wee Willie.
What is Wee Willie? I don't know what the hell it's called. I've never used that site. So, so say for instance, if someone, and my question is for you is this: if someone is using or utilize that site and that's their host, right, or whatnot, would you said is it something that you can do with that, or is it something you would take off of there and put it on your, as in this type of Members Press or something, or not Members Press, WordPress?
It really just depends. I mean, it's like a case-by-case basis. So ideally, we would not be hosting the website on Weebly because that's a very specific platform with a lot of limitations. Nothing against people who use it, but it's one of those sites kind of like Wix where you don't know what you're doing. And so you just learn by publish, let me look at how it looks. Publish, let me look at how it looks on my phone. Publish, let me look at how it looks on my iPad. And so you're going back and forth, just trying to figure out how to make it work right. And our platform, it works right. Right.
And that's the whole reason we created Site Now, which you see there. I know that can be confusing to the viewers. Site Now is a sister brand of Market House, so they're under the same umbrella. So Site Now, the reason we created it is because of the frustration that we have had clients coming to us and saying, I have a Squarespace site, but I have zero clue what I'm doing on there, making sure it's done correctly, or a Wix site and saying I've spent more time trying to go through their network of
it's frustrating, man. They're integrate. You have to look at how well can you integrate it. The question, she brought the question to me because I was obviously talking to her about one way to really allow yourself to get to the right clients is setting up a members area where you're able to provide a lot more content and utilize and repurpose some of your older content for them to consume on all the levels. You might be working with an individual client that's ready for your services full, all the way. But one way to be able to serve to the masses is utilizing your older content through a member site. But I noticed when she sent me the question, I clicked on the link and I went to their site and I was like, man, this isn't integrated. You can't integrate even Kajabi to the damn thing. You had to zap everything. I was like, well, damn. So I was looking at it. I was like, I don't know. So I had probably 10 messages going back and sending it because I kept having a lot of different ideas. And I was like, you just need a new site because if I had, and it kind of was perfect. I was like, man, this is there's no coincidence in life. It happens on purpose. Right. So I was like, I'm having a call with my guys tomorrow on this. And I just was like, man, that'd be a great question to ask. I know there's certain people that maybe have a site and they're only utilizing it up to 20% of what it can do. And there's a lot of limitations with their own site anyway of what all the great things and new themes and all the integrations of what you can actually make happen. Because if you're trying to protect your content, now you got to go to Wistia, got to go to one of these other hosting sites. And that's going to, end of the day, you're spending, I don't know, I would probably be saying an average $700 a month-ish on things
it adds up a lot.
Yeah. I don't know. I just don't like to be nickel and dime, So
You
Yeah,
like to
well,
be
and the thing
quartered.
is too is if you're sitting there and you're going to redo your site anyway, why not go ahead and let's just do the back end and build your member section of your site. Go ahead and just build that out as well. Like we can do all of that,
Yeah.
So
Makes
yeah, I
sense.
think it's a good idea.
I mean, that was a conversation, Christy and I had early on, which was you had your stuff built out separately. And as we've been doing this, we're working towards, fairly soon to launch everything within the WinJect
100%.
ecosphere. So you're not having to leave. You just come to one place and you're there the whole time. So it only makes sense. But I get why people do it separately, just because that's what 890 million search results tell you to do.
Perfect example. I mean, that's a complete reflection of that, because what it is uncertainty, and uncertainty causes fear, and it causes stress, and for you to be unplugged from your source and all these things that are going to bring you fulfillment in life. I live and die by saying that if it doesn't bring you any fulfillment and you're not in your zone of genius, you're not supposed to be doing it. So you see 890 million searches, that's 890 million people going, what the truck do I do?
Exactly.
Sure. Yeah.
And that's why we're here to help. The member thing, this is constantly evolving. So like Zach and I have been working on what can we add, what can we tweak, what can we provide. And so that's one of the new things that we'll be releasing before long as a package specifically for like membership access kind of thing. We're just trying to make sure that we can make it affordable. It'll be a much more affordable option, because then if you're doing everything separately and a la carte, as opposed to like I got my website over here and I've got my membership here and then I'm paying processing here and I'm doing this, that, and the other thing. So we just want to make sure that it's affordable to the community. So
okay, so we had someone that said like, okay, I want to go ahead and take action on this now. Like walk me through kind of like walk them through some of the onboarding process. I know that what you mentioned, having the content and having a kind of idea what you want to do, booking a strategy session. I get that. Yeah. But what are some of the things they should expect?
Yeah. So there's buttons there to go buy it right now. I don't really foresee anybody doing that immediately, because it all starts with a conversation. We're very conversational people, and we like to know what you're looking for. That way we can tailor something to do. So, after the conversation, you can go to the website and then purchase it and then get started. That way we can take payment. But it all starts with a conversation, and that's there on that landing page. Scroll down to the bottom, and you can access the consult, and you can schedule 15 minutes to talk. It'll probably end up being longer than 15 minutes, but that's just what the time slots
I do the
are.
same trick too. Don't worry. I book calls for 15 minutes just so if I don't like you within 15 minutes, I got to go, right?
You said it.
I'm just being honest. Like that's one of the things that I learned years ago. Like only booking calls, like new calls for 15 minutes. If it's no synergy there, it gives you an out.
Exactly. But we will have synergy with all WinJect community members.
I know. I'm just making a joke.
Yeah. So so it all starts with a conversation, and then from there, we have like a brand guide sheet that we'll send out to you, and it really gets us to know who you are after the conversation, like favorite colors, what your brand is, what you're trying to communicate, who your audience is, all that stuff. And it's all just for us to get to know your brand. And then we have several themes that you can pick from. There's several that we're building specifically for the WinJect podcast community. And that's what Zach's been tasked with. He's leading that team. And we'll have those available. You can pick and choose what you want. You're not like picking a theme and that's exactly what it's going to look like. You pick a bridge point, and then we develop it customized to you. You bring to us the content. If you need us to help with that, we can do that. And then we just crush it. We either build out a brand new site where if you're new to podcasting, or we can help you port over your content from your existing site. It's really that's why it all starts with a conversation, because no two people are the same. You don't have the same issues. You don't have the same requests.
100%.
We can't put that all in a box.
Zach, can you go through a couple of the themes that you have an idea about?
Well, we have our. If you go to site now, right now,
That was good.
You will.
Right now,
Well,
it's like a message. Right now, buy now. Okay.
By now. But wait, there's more. If you go to browse themes, you can see some of the things we have right now. Like Jason said, we are in the process of building out a couple of specific for.
Yeah, Carolyn, if you go up to the very top,
click on browse themes for me. Sorry. Go ahead, Jason.
Yeah,
no worries. So you can see some of the themes now that we've built out for just businesses in general. Now, the way it works is don't focus on what the content has on there. We've already created some pieces that, hey, this could work. This looks like a good layout for if you have a poke bowl restaurant, whatever.
Yeah.
But the thing you want to pay attention to is how does it lay out? What is the feel of the site? Because we can make it look and put your content in there, it can transform it 100% to whatever you want it to be. So yes, those are some things we've already built out. Like I said, we are building some that are specifically for podcasters.
Right.
That will look very similar to some of these themes, but you'll see the features that are geared for podcasters specifically.
Right.
So making sure you have like where you can put in your links for your shows, making sure you have places for your audio, making sure you have places for your video. If you have that as part of your podcast.
I'll say this, I'll throw this in there, and this is a free pro tip for those of you who have watched for the last 32 minutes and 11 seconds. If you are wanting to launch a successful or relaunch a successful website, podcast, brand, whatever, please spend the time, find a local photographer who's like killer, has really great reviews, and get some photos. That will make your brand, because I see people who come to us and they have great content, but their photos are terrible. It's like, you know what? Yeah, your kid could take a photo, or your friend can take a photo with their phone, and oh man, I got like XYZ megapixel zoom, and it can do this, that, and the other thing. But there is just something about that specific touch that you get from a really killer photographer that takes your website and your brand to the next level.
Yeah,
so
don't wear the same shirt on every pose, right? Like you know, like do a proper, obviously if you have the right photographer, then they're going to make these suggestions.
That's really going to make it for you guys.
You get headshots, but then also get shots of, if you action shots, for you being a podcaster. Get shots over your shoulder or whatever, your microphone, like all that sort of stuff. People can start to see stock photography, and if it's a very popular image, you're going to start to see it all over the place. If you're like us, we look at stock photos, and I can ride down the road and see a billboard and say, I've seen that stock photo before. But the thing is what Jason's saying is photos make or break a website. They really do. It can change the whole look and feel of an actual website. So we just suggest spend the money, spend the extra money to get high quality, great photos. It will make a difference.
I think one of the things that I loved about, and I know we got to go here, and one thing I loved about the website that you custom made for WinJack exclusively, is that sticky video. Is that that's hard? That's a different type of addition to this. Obviously getting one up, but is that something that they could do, like maybe potentially as an add-on for their show?
So
also, it's obviously a different type of theme, and you have to custom make certain things. And I know I'm not trying to obviously stretch the arm right now, but I'm just giving an example.
Again, that's why it always starts with a conversation,
right?
So, for you, we added that sticky video feature, which if you go to the WinJack site and you start to scroll, you'll see it just dock to the header. If you're on desktop, it'll just dock to the header and it'll stay there. And that's a great way to do promotions, to call attention to something. Because once you get somebody on your site, you want to do whatever you can to like get in their face and get them to interact more. And the sticky video is a really cool feature. And yeah, it's something that if needed, we can work on that. So,
Okay.
But yeah, that was specifically custom to your site. So
Cool. All right, guys. Any other questions? If you have questions, go ahead and quickly send those in. If you have any further questions, text us at 843-396-2104. Again, 843-396-2104. And we'll make sure we get to answer those questions for you. The other side, so 2 p.m. Eastern, every Monday, Thursday, you'll see either both of these guys, one of these guys, or somebody from their staff kind of going through some of these themes. And I think it'll be really helpful for like some giving a real life testimonial of some of our people that you're going to be serving within the community, and having them come on and going through the experience. And I'll be happy to come on and kind of do that for you guys as well, and shooting whatever we need to. And just going through to kind of start, because I think just to touch on that one little piece that Jason talked about is at the beginning during the beta phase, we're utilizing Kajabi. And then once I guess you would say, seeing the skills of Jason and Zach of the way that it looked aesthetically on the website, it almost, when I clicked on join and it goes back to, it just takes away from this. It's kind of like you cook a nice Thanksgiving dinner and you get the table set and invite everybody over. They all show up and you throw the food away. In my opinion, I don't know, but it was beautiful.
thank you.
So any other questions? Any other things? All right, guys. Well,
No,
go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I think we covered everything there.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, guys. Well, y'all be well, be you, be great. Don't do anything I would do. If you have any, like I said, questions, reach out to us. The only question that is stupid pretty much is that is wasting time. And if you are one of the 890 million searches of going something in a website, and it's got to be one of you. So reach out, leverage us, and help, ask for help. We're not mind readers. That's one thing. Can't really speak to you telepathically. I can try, but it's not that. It's a little difficult. So
I mean, I've been trying for years. It's really hard. I don't know.
I kind of did it with my the Windjet website a little bit. I was a little shocked.
You did.
Yeah,
I think it was the ocean, that bridge. It was like
it's like
No, we use the force. I mean, you don't see Jason's background there. We use the force to be able to pull it out of you.
Yeah. And it is a light bulb too. So, all right. I can go on and I can talk to these guys forever. But all right, guys, take care. Peace out. Carolyn, hit it. Peace.
See you.
This podcast is part of the Windjet Studios network, where podcasters come together to focus on community, collaboration, and collective impact. For more information on how to apply to join the network, go to www.winject.com. That's WINJECT.com. If you're ready to make a difference through